everyone, it's Sean from What Up. Welcome back to another video. Now, it's been a couple of weeks since I've given you guys a video, let alone a casting or a news video, and that's because I actually went on vacation with my family. I was very lucky, we all are very lucky in my part of the world to be able to do so. Now, what did I do on vacation? Well, we did all the normal vacation stuff, but I also got a rather large Wheel of Time tattoo that I'm documenting in another video that you'll see next week. Now, it's not the infamous tattoo that some of you may have seen floating around the Facebook groups or on Instagram or on Twitter, and that's that one right there. It's hard to twist my arm to see, and if you can't see it, it's a heart with Gowan's name in it. Yes, that is real. It's not photoshopped. It actually happened. That happened at the same time. I got a video of that as well. However, that's not the big reveal. If you want to know more about the Gowan tattoo, wait till the end of this video, and I'll discuss why I got it and what's going on with that then. But before we get into any of that, some real important news. Wheel of Time Wednesday is kind of sort of back. I mean, it was a thing, and then it was not a thing, and now it's sort of a thing again. Wheel of Time on Prime is running a book club every Wednesday on Twitter. Now, if you haven't followed them on Twitter, if you don't have Twitter, it's worth it to get Twitter and to actually make an account just to follow Wheel of Time on Prime for Wednesdays. Because not only do they ask some questions about certain chapters, we're about halfway through the Eye of the World right now, but they also interact with the fans, they talk to us, and they give us show information. I mean, today we got 2 castings. So that's what this video is about today, is about the 2 new castings we got today, Siuan Sanche as well as Min. Now, I know the fandom's just freaking right out about Min. Everyone loves Min, and they all waited very eagerly to see who was playing her. We got all that information for you tonight. We'll discuss both actresses, who they're playing, and how it's going to fit into the first season, because, I mean, we all know that we didn't really see Siuan in the Eye of the World. Alright, before we get into any of that, spoiler warning, in this video I'm going to be talking about castings that Wheel of Time on Prime gave us today. Now, that's for Siuan and Min. So if you haven't read at least New Spring and The Eye of the World, be forewarned, I may ruin certain aspects of both of those books for you, because, let's face it, we have to figure out where these castings fit in. Alright, let's get on to the video. She comes, the Watcher of the Seals, the Flame of Tarvalon, the Emerald Seat. Now, Wheel of Time on Prime gave us a casting for Siuan Sanche, the Emerald Seat, on Wheel of Time Wednesday. And this is a really big deal for a bunch of different reasons. We'll talk about the actress herself first. Sophie Okonedo. Now, I probably pronounced that last name wrong, and I'm sorry if I did, but she's a big deal. Now, I've seen a lot of people grumbling and complaining on Facebook groups and on Reddit and even on Twitter, which is, usually the most accepting of places for the Wheel of Time community, that a lot of the actors and actresses in the show aren't well known, and they're upset about that because everyone should be big actors and actresses for the show, everyone, because it's the Wheel of Time. And I understand why people feel that way. I'm very passionate about the book series, as you all know. I'm very passionate about the TV series coming out, but I've tempered my passion to the point where I know it's an adaptation and changes will occur, and you have to have certain expectations for it. I think it's going to be great, but I'm envisioning it as another turning of the wheel, not exactly a port of the books. It can't be. I mean, the books wouldn't port to the screen properly. They'd have to change at least a little bit. So with that being the case, Sophie here, even if you don't know her name, she is a big actress. So, she was born in 1968. She's a British actress. That puts her at about 52 years old. And she started acting in 95, so she's been acting for 25 years. Again, in line with Amazon's hiring people with a lot of experience and who are good at their jobs, who are good actors and actresses. Now, you may have known her from a few different things. In 95, she was in Ace Ventura 2, When Nature Calls. Phenomenal movie, really funny. That was her first movie. And since then, she's been in a number of things. Doctor Who, After Earth, a bunch of television shows, a bunch of movies. But most notably, 2004, she was in Hotel Rwanda. Now, Hotel Rwanda is an amazing film. If you haven't seen it, please go out and do so right now. I can't recommend it enough. It's really, really good. Don Cheadle's in it as well. But what's kind of a big deal about this is Sophie was in that, and she was nominated for the Oscar for Best Supporting Actress. And as soon as I seen Sophie cast as the Emerald, I went, I know her from Hotel Rwanda. I don't know her name. I don't know anything else she's in, really, at that point, but I recognized her from Hotel Rwanda. It wasn't until I did a little research about her, then I realized, oh yeah, she was in the 2019 Hellboy. She was in all kinds of things, really, that I've seen, but I didn't really notice her specifically. But I do remember her from Hotel Rwanda because she did such a great job. This lady can act, and I mean that, like, she can act. Like, Amazon is lucky to have her, is the way I'm putting it, because she is so good. Now, so that's the actress. That's Sophie. I mean, I think she's perfect for the role because she is such a good actress, and I think she'll be able to channel the severity and commanding presence of Siuan very well. But why is Siuan even cast? Now, a few weeks or maybe even a month or two ago now, Red Indian Intelligence had some leaks, and one of them was a young Siuan. So it was a young actress. She was a child cast as Siuan. And now I did a video at the time, and I'm sure you have all seen that or other videos that speculated why they cast a young Siuan, because young Siuan never really shows up in the books. So the way it works in my mind is this. A lot of the characters in the series have very interesting and varied backstories. I mean, Siuan herself, she was a poor fisherman's daughter in Twiiter. She grew up rough on the streets, and she eventually worked and clawed her way to the top and became the most powerful woman in the world. That alone is worth a TV series in my mind. I would love to watch that. I really would, like a whole spin-off series about Siuan and how she came to power. That would be amazing. But it's not actually talked about. They're not shown in the books. It's talked about in passing here and there throughout the series about her past and things like that, but you don't actually see scenes from her point of view in the past. So I think what they're going to do is they're going to take some of the more important characters in the series and they're going to flesh them out. And when they flesh them out, they're going to give them those backstories that we've read in the Companion, that we've read in the World of Wheel of Time, that we've read in online resources, and show them to the fans. Because you have to remember, not everyone has read the series that's going to watch the show. In fact, I hate to break this to you, but the people who have read the books will be a minority when the show comes out. You will. Like, maybe 10 people who haven't read the books will watch the show to every one who's read the books. That was the way Game of Thrones went. And yes, a lot of people picked up the books afterwards, but that's the way it is. So when they flesh these characters out and give them a bit of a backstory and make them a little more interesting to the watcher, I'm all for that because it will draw other people in. So that was my first thought about that. So we knew that young Siuan was going to be in season 1. However, current day Siuan, how does she fit in? If you look at the Eye of the World, Siuan does not show up at all. She is not in that book. She's mentioned, however, she's not in the book. So I think of this. In the Eye of the World, there's 3 different ways. Well, let's say 4 different ways that Siuan can show up in the season 1. First way is pretty simple: flashbacks to New Spring, and they handle the Aes Sedai agelessness by just not changing the way she looks. I mean, they go back to the Blood Snow and the Aiel War and all the events of New Spring, and Sophie plays Siuan as is. No de-aging, no nothing else. She looks exactly the same. And then when we fast forward and see her in present day, she looks exactly the same. Bam. Aes Sedai agelessness. I mean, that's one way of handling it. So we may see her as is in the New Spring flashbacks, which we know are going to happen. We know they're going to do that because they've cast characters that only show up in New Spring. So that's not too big of a stretch. That's the first way she could show up in season 1. The second way is they do more than just the Eye of the World. They actually incorporate some of the Great Hunt into the first season, which I'm a big proponent of. I think they're going to incorporate at least a little bit of the second book into the first season, if not all of it, because it would work out so well with the timelines. And we first really do meet Siuan in the beginning of the Great Hunt in Fall Dara, where she meets the Emond's Field 5. So if we see those scenes, that's a possibility that she'll show up there too. Now the third one is that we may see scenes that aren't in the books. So this kind of breaks down in 2 different ways. There's a huge theory right now in the Wheel of Time fandom that says that they're going to skip Camelin completely and go right to the White Tower and show that and go through all of that. Do I think that's going to happen? I don't think so. They cast Basil Gill. I think we're going to see Camelin. I think we'll see the Andorian royal family, even though they're not cast yet. I think we'll see all of that. However, that is a big theory, so that's a possibility, I guess. The other possibility is they're going to show scenes from the White Tower that are not in the books at all. Now, this may be a little bit of a spoiler for the first season for you. We already know they're going to show scenes in the White Tower in the first season because when I did my interview with the extra, she told me she played a servant to the Aes Sedai. She was in the tower, and Barney and Yosha happened to be on set that day. Doesn't mean they're in the scenes, but they were on set that day. So we know we're going to see, for sure, some scenes from the White Tower, and that's a really good thing. So I think what we may see, and this is, I think, the most plausible theory, is the fact that Sophie's going to play Siuan current day. We'll see her as the Emerald Seat in the White Tower. We'll see some of the workings of the White Tower and a few scenes here and there in the first season to set all that up and show to the viewers, because we really don't see the White Tower or learn much about it till later on in the book series. And for a show, that doesn't work really well because you have this big thing you talk about a lot, the White Tower MacGuffin off in the corner, and no one knows what it is. If they show it, people will understand, and it'll make the transition to learning about the Aes Sedai a little bit easier, I think. So I think we're going to see some scenes from the Tower that aren't in the books. That's my guess. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. How is Siuan going to fit into season 1? That's what I want to know from you folks. Will it happen that way? Will it happen a different way? We're not sure. Now, Siuan herself is an amazing character, and Sophie is an amazing actress. She, like I said, has been in a number of different things, but she's been in a wide variety of things too. So I think her commanding presence, her age, her authority will all lend itself to be a really, really good fit for playing this very legendary character in the series, which, by the way, she's in the series right up till the final books. So this is a big role. It's one of the main roles. We're going to see more and more of her as the show goes on. And her acting and anything else is any indication how well she'll do, I'm very excited to see her on screen. All right, so that's all I got for Siuan. Let's go on to our next casting. All right, our second casting and our last casting of the day was for a character that is probably the most anticipated character that has not been cast yet in the first season of Wheel of Time. And I'm saying that because, everybody wants to know who's playing this character. Everybody wants to know how this character is going to fit in. And that is Min Farshaw. Yay, Min! A lot of people were speculating that she was cut from the first season or cut from the series altogether, and they're very upset about that because she is a fan favorite character. But Rafe Judkins actually went on record and said that no, she's not being cut. She is in the show. Don't worry about it. And people still didn't believe him. And I don't know why. I don't know why people get upset about these things when they're told something completely different. But it's fine. It is what it is. So we'll talk a little bit about the actress that's playing Min. We'll talk a little bit about Min herself, who she is, and how she fits into the series. And then we're going to talk about how I believe she's going to fit into season 1 of the series. Because Min really isn't in the other world that much. But we'll get to that in a second. So who's playing Min? Well, Min is played by Kay Alexander. She's a British actress that moved when she was 10 from Japan. So she was born in Japan, and now she's a British citizen, and she's a British actress. She's been acting since about 2008, and she's been in a number of different things. So you may know her from some shows such as Fleabag. She was on it for 3 seasons, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. She was in Ready Player One. She was in Maleficent, Mistress of Evil. She was in a number of television productions, a number of television movies, a number of big budget movies. You name it, she's done it. She's been acting for 12 years, and she's done all kinds of different things, which puts her in line with a lot of the other Amazon actors and actresses that they've hired that have a lot of experience, but maybe aren't big names, but they're really good at their craft. Now, if you watch some of the shows she's been in, can she act? Yes, she can. She's a great actress. She does a very good job. And she actually brings up the level of those around her in the few shows I've seen her in that maybe haven't been the biggest budget or best put together. But she herself, phenomenal in them. Now, where else will you know her from? Well, I'll save this best for last. 2016 Game of Thrones, she played Leaf. Now, I've seen a few people say, well, that's not a big deal. Leaf didn't really have that big of a role. It's blah, blah. It's Game of Thrones. It's a speaking role. She was on screen. That's big enough for me. And that also gives her a leg up over some of the other actors and actresses on the show because she already has been around the sets of a fantasy series. She's already dealt with makeup and whatnot, which she won't have to do as Min Farshaw. However, she's had experience with Game of Thrones, which will port directly to being able to play her characters in the Wheel of Time series a bit better because she's been around a fantasy setting before. Now, we've talked a little bit about the actress herself, and then we'll talk about Min. Now, Min is a young lady, Min Farshaw's a young lady from Berlin in Andor who can see omens, I guess is the best way to put it. She can see images and auras around different people that either have a feeling or a thought or she knows what they mean automatically. She just kind of interprets them and she knows, and it tells the future. Now, we meet her first in the Eye of the World for a couple of chapters, pretty much, and that's it. We don't see her again in that book. And she comes later on in the series after that. So my thoughts are, how is she going to fit into the first season? It's one of those things where I said before that they're going to have major characters like Siuan or major characters like, even in book 2, like these characters who show up they go away for a bit and they come back and they become major later or stay minor later on. Min, however, is a very major character. She stays right till the end of the book series. She factors very heavily in the last few books, and she's kind of a big deal. So how are they going to do this? Will they show her for 40 seconds on screen in the first season and then not show her again for maybe a season or two, depending on how the pacing goes? No, I don't think so. I think what we're going to see is we will see a few more scenes with Min in it than you're expecting. Things that maybe aren't in the books, but they make sense. So we'll see maybe a little bit of her life in Berlin. Maybe we'll see her using her skills so it can explain it a bit better. Maybe we'll see her journey to the White Tower. Maybe. We don't really know how it's going to work out, but I think we'll see some other scenes with Min in it that'll flesh her character out a bit more earlier rather than later, because for viewers who haven't read the books before, meeting a main character a couple seasons in who you've met for 30 seconds before that, it doesn't really gel well with a lot of people. So I think they'll try to build her up a bit, and we'll see her more often than you would in the book series, which I'm 100% okay with. I already know that Logain's storyline is going to be fleshed out. Super happy with that. I already know they're doing new spring stuff. Super happy with that. I want to see, there's a bunch of stuff I want to see that is not in the books that is alluded to. I hope we see at least some of it on the screen, and some that has to do with Min. So that's great. Now, last thing I want to talk about this casting is there is a small bit of controversy with it. And I'm only going to touch on one of the controversial things, because the other one is, to me, a complete non-issue, and I don't even want to discuss it. But I've seen a lot of people complain about her age. Now, you look up her age online, there's some conflicting reports, but I believe, and I'm saying I believe, that she's 39 years old. Which, I mean, it's not a big deal to me, but apparently to some people on Facebook and on Reddit and even in Twitter time, which really kind of blew me away, because that's the most accepting Wheel-Time community that I know of. People were upset that she was older than she is in the books. Now, Min is in her early 20s in the books, and she becomes a love interest of somebody who's a little bit younger than her. And people are upset that she is not that age. And that blows me. I don't know what to say about that. Like, all right, I'm going to give you the best argument on why that's absolutely ridiculous. And then I'm going to leave it alone after that and never talk about it again, because the people that are upset about this are a vocal minority who have been upset about everything so far. So, I'm going to use one character played by two different actors. The age doesn't match up, and they both did a very good job, and it was really well. And that character is Spider-Man. Tobey Maguire played a 15-year-old Spider-Man. How old's Tobey? I'm not even going to tell you. I'm going to let you guys look it up if you want, if you're that interested. He's not 15. Spoiler warning. Andrew Garfield played a teenage Spider-Man as well. Is Andrew Garfield a teenager when he played that? No. No, he was not. Then you look at 90210, then you look at, and you look at, and you look at, and you look at, and you keep going all these other shows. Actors and actresses commonly play people that are not their specific age. They commonly play characters that are not their specific, lifestyle or what they do day to day or their personality, because, and I'm going to let you know a little secret, they're actors. And it's not a big deal, and you don't notice it, and it's like, I can't tell you that once when I watched the very first Spider-Man directed by Sam Raimi that I thought Tobey Maguire, oh my god, he's too old. Why? This is terrible. Never once did that ever cross my mind, and never has it crossed my mind for anyone else. The fact that it's crossed some people's minds for this particular actress playing Min blows my mind, because it's a non-issue. It's 100% a non-issue. I don't get it. But that's my defense to that, and feel free to cut me apart in the comments if you want, but you're wrong and I'm right. It's the only way I can say it. So, that being said, that's the castings we got. That's how I think they're going to fit into the first season. That's how I hope they fit into the first season anyway. And I want to let Rafe Judkins, Wheel of Time and Prime, know that you guys are doing a bang-up job. You really are. So far, you've nailed every casting that you've had, in my mind. And again, there are people who don't agree with me. There are people that don't like the castings, and that's okay. You're allowed to have your own opinions about certain things. But my opinion is that everything so far has been absolutely stellar. I'm super pumped about every character that's been cast so far because of the people behind the characters. The actors and actresses themselves are amazing. And I'm really excited for the show to air. All right. So now, before we get into the community section, we're going to go with one more little tidbit, and that is about my Gowan tattoo. So I'm going to try to show it a bit better here. It's going to be upside down. So there you go. That's Gowan's name in a heart. It was floating around Instagram for a bit. I posted it personally on Instagram and on my Twitter, and then people screenshotted it, and it was all over the Facebook groups, and there were threads and threads about this where people were losing their minds. They thought it was Photoshopped. They thought it was fake. There's no way that'll happen. No one likes Gowan. It's not fake. It's real. It's a real tattoo. And I'll feature it in my tattoo video that I'm going to put out probably next week. I got a big Wheel of Time tattoo on my thigh, and I videotaped them doing it. So that video is coming soon, which is going to be really cool, actually. So why did I get Gowan's name in heart? Well, for those of you who don't know, I've been kind of holding a campaign the last few months to assist with the reveal of Gowan's character. Now, I did a video months and months ago on why Gowan's such a good character and why I like him so much. And yes, I really do like Gowan. He's my second favorite character of the series. My first is Varen, but I love Gowan. He's such an interesting character. He's so real. I really like him, and I'm not going to give you the reasons why. So one of the things I did to try to get Wheel of Time and Prime and Amazon extension is I got that tattoo, and I plastered it everywhere. It worked. It got a lot of people talking, maybe not in a nice way. They said some people said some mean things about me, but other people thought it was pretty cool. And I just enjoy the character that much. And I have a lot of tattoos, a lot. My wife has even more than I do. It's one of those things that we plan our date nights or anniversaries are things we do around getting a tattoo because we really enjoy it. So is it a big deal for me to get something kind of glib, I guess is the best way to put it, like that? No, not at all. I think it's amazing. It's a lot of fun. Every one of my tattoos has a story behind it, and this one has a really great story behind it because it ties into my channel, ties into the character I like and that other people hate, ties into a campaign I'm running that if I ever do get to help with the reveal in any way, shape, or form, it will be absolutely amazing. Do I expect it to happen? Probably not, but it would be really cool. So, if you don't know about it, now you know, and you can go to Twitter, tag Wheel of Time and Prime, tag Rafe Judkins, tag anyone else in the cast and crew that you know of, and say that What Up would like to help with the reveal because he's very passionate about that character. That's the story of that tattoo, and that's why that happened. All right, so let's get on to the community section. Welcome to the community section. So today I'm featuring Geeky Airy. Now, for those of you who don't know who she is, I've left a link to her YouTube channel, which is new, as well as her Twitter handle down below in the description box. Now, she is a very prominent Twitter of Time member, and she's a sleuth, so she's our resident Brown Aja. So she basically will dig through thousands of posts on Instagram and on Reddit and different places and find out information about the show, and she compiles it all because she's very passionate about the show, just like the rest of us, and she's now trying her hand at content creation. So she has her own YouTube channel, and basically it's really involved. It's really, if you want to know specific information about the show, this is the channel to go to. I cover the news here, but she is minute detail of everything. Go check her channel out. Subscribe to her if you can. Please support her because she is a phenomenal resource for us here in the Wheel of Time community. She's helped me out in a bunch of videos here at the channel. She's helped other people out, I know that too, and she's really good. So I'm going to read a little blurb about her channel that she's given me. Geeky Airy has been a Wheel of Time fan since 2000, but the upcoming TV show renewed her love for the series and the fandom. She went from following the show news to looking for it, and now she's decided to try her hand at creating videos, so fans can easily digest everything we've learned about the show so far. And it's true, she has a couple of videos out right now. Like I said, her channel's still in its infancy, it's brand new, but the videos are really very good. So please go check her channel out. Links in the description box down below. Watch her videos, sub to her channel, like her videos, comment there, do all the regular things that YouTube metrics like, because she is a really valuable resource to the Wheel of Time community, and she's an amazing person. All right, so that's all we have for today. I hope you enjoyed the casting news. I hope you enjoyed the tattoo news. I hope you enjoyed the community section. I hope you enjoyed all of it. I want to thank you all very much for sticking with me here to the very end, and here's to many more.